Thank you for rocking with me. As always, welcome back to another Millennial in Debt Money Talk, Money Chat, Money, whatevs. Right, so today we're going to be talking about how to prepare for a recession, right? My millennials, we know, we done been through some things, right? When that recession of 2007, 8, whatever hit, it was hard and we wasn't prepared and we paid the benefits or we reaped no benefits, however you want to say it. And now it seems like another one is looming on the horizon. But with my help, because I'm here to help. With my help, I'm going to give you some advice, some tips, some tools, some things you need to know and understand in order for you to prepare for what is to come. Because you always want to be prepared, right? Because if you stay ready, you ain't never got to get ready, right? So let's go over what a recession is anyway. Recession is essentially a shrinking economy, right? So places aren't making as much money, people aren't hiring, places are losing money, companies are going bankrupt. It's just not a very fun time. Your dollar is not going to stretch as far as it used to in previous economies or economic states, right? So that is what a recession is in the simplest of forms and ideas. Now, why a recession is dangerous or why it can be hard to prepare, because you have millions of people who are going to school to get degrees, to get these better jobs, to do all these things, opening businesses, entrepreneurs, and people are no longer spending money. So when people stop spending money, the economy crashes because there's no money in circulation. The first thing you want to know and understand about a recession is that employment gets very, very difficult. But it's not only just simple to get a job, or it's not only just difficult to get a job, it's also difficult to keep your job. It's also difficult to ask for a raise or to make more money. And 9 times out of 10, if you do get a job during a recession, you will be making far less than people who obtain the same job, same experience, same degree during an economic boom, right? They'll be paid more and their trajectory will be a lot higher than what you started and where you'll end up because you started during a recession. So that is something you want to know, especially when you're trying to negotiate different salaries and things that you're worth, because you are worth all that money that you spent to go to school. No matter what time period it is, no matter what financial period it is. All right, so during a recession, there are a lot of hiring freezes. There are a lot of people being laid off, a lot of early retirement, or people who have to work far past their retirement because they weren't able to get a job if they were laid off. They weren't able to continue to pay into their investments and retirement funds and programs and things like that. So it does become rather difficult. A lot of people start living off of their savings accounts. It's not a fun time. And fun fact, during the last recession that we had, that is what caused the boom of all of the reality TV, because actual scripted TV shows cost a lot more money. You have to pay actors, you have to pay editing, production, things like that, as opposed to when you throw a camera to follow people around and you do very minimal editing, but you still need things on TV. So recessions breed really bad reality TV as well. So that's something. Fun fact. So during a recession, employment can take about 3 to 12 months, sometimes 18 months to find a job, even though you're qualified, even if you have a ton of experience, even if you have all the degrees in the world, simply because people aren't hiring or they can't afford to hire you. So it does become rather difficult, especially when you're living at home with your parents or whatever, not only to pay bills, but to deal with people's mouths constantly talking in your ear when they don't really understand what it is that's going on, or they're in a much different situation than you. So you want to be careful and you want to make sure that you are secure or are building a nest or an emergency fund in case, because you never know, right? Because even when I graduated in 2010, there had been a teacher hiring freeze for the last 3 years, and you couldn't hire new teachers that just graduated from programs. You had to simply hire teachers within the Department of Ed already. So even teachers, doctors, lawyers, things where people are like, that's a secure job. Not during nobody's Great Recession, it's not. So that's just something you want to keep in mind. The next thing that you want to know or be prepared to understand is that people who have a college degree are more secure during a recession. It doesn't mean they've got 100% security. It just means that they're more secure than those without it. So people who tend to make more money during an economic boom or during a time of economic stability, they will have an easier time keeping a job, maintaining a job, getting a job, as opposed to people who are based on their skills or might not have a degree. And it's not because they want to pay people so much and they want people with experience. It's simply because, oh, I have this job, I'm going to pay $9 an hour. I would usually hire someone with a GED or something like that. You have a master's degree, but you really want this job. I'm going to pay you $9 because I think you're going to do great because you have a master's, but I'm not paying you more than $9. So that's literally what is happening. It's not that people with a degree are better than people without a degree. It's simply people taking advantage of the situation. Like, oh, you want this job? I'm paying this for this job. You have this degree. I'll hire you over the person who doesn't. Is it bullshit? Yes. Is it what happens during a recession? Yes. The next thing that you want to know and prepare, I've been seeing this meme go around and I'll put it right up on this screen of millennials waiting for the next recession to buy a house. Yes and no, right? So borrowing money during recession gets really tricky because there's pros and cons, as with everything, and it's very twofold. The positive, or the reason why people are like, I'm waiting for this recession to buy a house. I'm gonna be whatever. I'm gonna be dope. I'm gonna be great, because the borrowing percentages drops drastically. So you'll be able to get a loan at a 2.3 or a 3.2, maybe not 2.3, that's a low. Maybe like at a 4 or a 3, right, as opposed to like a 6 or a 7% interest rate. But the problem, because employment is so difficult to come by, because employment is not stable, people are losing their jobs that have had them for 20 plus years, 10 plus years, right? There's no security in employment. The banks are like, hold up, we're not going through another Great Depression issue. What we're going to do is we're going to raise the requirements for getting a loan, right? So as opposed to, let's say you used to need a 600 to get a mortgage or a 620 credit score. Now they're like, you need to be making $200,000 a year as opposed to 100 or 70,000, whatever the original, and you need to have a 830 credit score. Like, what? I need to be making double and have an almost perfect credit score to get the same loan that last week you were giving away to people who made $60,000 and a 620 credit score. So that's what the banks do in order to kind of protect themselves, and with, I guess, good reason, because employment is so unstable. However, the low percentage rates are not being given out willy-nilly to everyone. So that's something that we really want to know as millennials. Just because a recession is on the horizon doesn't mean we're going to get wonderful rates and just get all these things. Because a lot of the times, I hate to say it, millennials' credit scores are a little wonky and not really always through the faults of their own. You know, Sallie Mae, Navient, student loans, car loans, credit card. A lot of these things get dropped onto us, and then the recession occurs and it's like, my credit is 420 and I'm in default on my loans. So that's just something you want to think about. Don't just think you're about to get great home rates if you don't have a perfect credit score and like make $7 million. So, which I do not. And the last thing you want to know, this might be for my baby boomers maybe, I don't know. Do y'all watch my channel? So retirement gets really tricky. Like I mentioned a little earlier in the video, people who've been working at jobs for 15, 20 years, they're also being let go, and they're very, very close to retirement. And what happens is they get fired, then they try to find another job with employment already being super difficult, and they being so experienced, and, you know, I've been making X amount of money all my life and whatever. They're not going to make that money anymore. So they're either being forced to retire early if they can, if they have the opportunity, or they're being forced to work longer, right? So if I had to retire 65, but a recession occurs when I'm 62, 63, I might have to keep working until 67, 69, 72, who knows? But recessions really hit retirement really difficult. Another thing that usually occurs with a recession with people's retirement is if you're invested in the stocks with your retirement and our stocks hit the fan, your retirement also hits the fan, right? Which will cause you to also have to work 7 more million years, because now you have no money in your retirement fund, which is why I don't invest aggressively. Too scared. And I'm only 31, right? So these are the things you want to know and be prepared for. Of course, an emergency fund will help. Of course, a sinking fund will help. But recessions are hard. We can never really tell how long they're going to last. Sometimes they last a few months. Sometimes they last for years. You never freaking know. So it's really important to just arm yourself with information, arm yourself with an extra dollar here and there, kind of make sure you're secure in your job as much as you can, as best as possible, because look, in these trying times, during this political climate, it's getting harder and harder to prepare for the unpreparable. So Godspeed. I love y'all. Thank you for subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you get a notification on the next upload. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace. Bye.